Now let's remind ourselves what this time period was like, right? We were in a state of emergency. The world was literally on fire, millions of people affected by COVID-19, death totals rising, infected totals rising daily. Um, we're losing loved ones, we're getting sick ourselves, we're told to shelter in place, avoid human contact, businesses closing and not opening back up, not returning. Hey, what's good, y'all? It's Clifton Henri, nationally recognized and award-winning photographer, here with day two, video two of my 10-day artist talk series, where I'm diving into what my inspiration was for the weight we carry. Let's get into it. We can't go to work. We don't know how we're gonna make ends meet. And on top of that, you add the mistreatment of Black and brown communities in terms of medical care. You put on top of that the amplified attack on Black America, it seemed like, at the hands of law enforcement. And it was just another moment in time, like through history and things I've, scenes and current events or whatever that I've experienced in my lifetime, that Black America has been told to wait. Wait to receive medical attention, wait to get better education. We wanted freedom. Wait for freedom. You know what I mean? Like, for generations upon generations upon generations, Black America has been told to wait. And the pandemic made that all so clear to me again, that we're going to have to wait for any sort of change. America is going to make us wait. And over the years, we've had glimpses of change and, within like American culture and in terms of race relations and things like that. But soon after that, America's like, nope, you're still gonna have to wait. We know we made a little bit of progress, but that's all you get. That's all you get this decade or this quarter century. You know what I mean? And that is a hard pill to swallow. The concept of being told to wait has a heaviness that's attached to it, right? And Black America's been told to wait generation upon generation, and we are literally passing on this waiting, this heaviness, this trauma to our children. And being at the time, like on the cusp of being a new dad and a new husband, like a lot of things started ringing like true and hitting home for me. So the concept of providing and protecting, like that's falling on me, specifically thinking about my daughter, right? All the burdens that my grandparents have carried, all the waiting that they've done was passed on to my parents, then passed on to me. And I'm likely going to end up passing on that burden and that waiting for something to my daughter. So with creating The Weight We Carry, or the piece that ended up being the title piece, The Weight We Carry, I was thinking about creating some imagery that showed some physical weight, right? So a carrying of a physical burden, and how that weight over time, over years, over generation can just wear you the fuck down, you know? I thought about the whole protection piece, like, yo, how do we protect ourselves and how do we protect our children in the world when it seems like the world doesn't like you, when the world doesn't appreciate you, when the world doesn't love you as you should be. A thought that really hit home is that this trauma has been ingrained in our DNA, almost to the point where our children are born with this trauma. Our children are born with this weight. And I guess the point of the piece is to really like call it out and identify it and recognize that this exists, that this is something that we need to think about and deal with, because it affects all aspects of our life, right? I think the overall, it's a recognition of feelings that I've had and currently have as a Black man in America, as a father, as a husband, as a son, as a grandson, as a friend. It hits home, and these are feelings that are often shunned to the side because, man, it's just something we got to deal with. We can't do nothing about it, et cetera, et cetera. But the recognition that it exists is probably the first step into healing from it, to understanding how it affects us and our relationships, how it just affects us as human beings. And the concept of protection and going to war was a thought in my head too, because during the pandemic, it kind of felt war zone-ish. You go outside and there are no people around. Everyone's taking cover. Everyone's taking shelter. And you think of personal protection equipment like PPE, like you kept hearing that over the television and radio and everything. So like, if you go outside, protect yourself, mask up, put on gloves, don't touch this, don't rub your face, don't rub your eyes, cough into your elbow, like that's but that like sort of propaganda, war propaganda, is stuff that was like going on in my brain too. And I don't know if inspiration, I don't know if inspired is the right word necessarily, but it definitely informed the work, right? It definitely, yeah, inspired is probably not the right word. It informed the work for sure and influenced the work most definitely. I think I was inspired by all of the people, artists, community activists that were taking action in real time during this period of time, during the pandemic, during the Black Lives Matter movement. I knew I wanted to respond as an artist, right? But in this particular moment, I was paralyzed and I was muted and I didn't know what to feel or how to feel. I'm sure a lot of you guys felt the same way. And being able to process those feelings. Like, it took me a little while to get there, to do it, but it was important for me as an artist to actually release those thoughts and release those ideas, because I understand I'm not the only one that lived this reality. I'm not the only one who felt the way I felt. And in many ways, it's a therapeutic piece for me. It's a therapeutic series for me, but it also brings visuals and brings some kind of poetic expression to folks who who believe the same thing and saw the same thing, experienced the same thing, but didn't have the words or don't have the artistic means, I guess, to express that. So it's cool to be like that conduit, I guess. So many emotional thoughts and things were like going through my head, almost to the point where I had to stop. I just made a list. I journaled and I wrote out everything that I was feeling. And for the signature piece, for this particular piece, I just picked a handful and worked from a handful of those thoughts and ideas. And from that sheet, some other pieces were actually birthed from that journaling, which was super beneficial and super therapeutic for me. So tomorrow, day 3, video 3, I'm gonna dive into the actual concept that I landed on. Like, how did I arrive to using these particular elements and deciding on, like, this is what the visual will be, this is what I want to communicate in this particular piece. And I will see you guys tomorrow, all right, for video 3. Peace.